Thanks so much for checking out the video today. I thought I'd put together a video of the most common mistakes that I see from beginner trombone players that I teach. There are some very basic things that you can learn from a YouTube video, and so I thought I'd put them all together right here. But first, click the little subscribe button down below. It helps out the channel so much, it costs you nothing. Okay, on to the first of the most common mistakes I see from beginner trombone students. Okay, so the first thing that I see all the time, especially in young trombonists whose lungs are still developing, I see them using not enough air. Air is the most important thing with the trombone. This is my favorite thing to do with students. Take your trombone. I love for you to start a note without using any air. It doesn't work. You need air to get the trombone to work. So, how do we make sure that we're using enough air every time that we pick up the trombone? I'll give you some exercises right now. So, the first thing I like to do for young students is to help them build their lung capacity. And how do we do that? We play long tones. And this is a little bit different from the long tones you might see as a more advanced trombone player. I'm not talking about Remington long tones here. I'm talking about holding a note for as long as you can and trying to beat your previous record on another attempt. So, how do you do this? Pick your favorite note, take a big breath, and play. Okay, not the longest note in the universe, but if I try again, I think I can do it a little bit longer. One other area that I see young trombonists or beginner trombonists not using enough air is when they are going across partials. Okay, I'll talk more about partials in a moment, but for now, what I'd like you to understand is that when you go higher up on the trombone, you should use more air. When playing an exercise like that, it's very, very important to let the air do the most of the work, because your face cannot tighten up enough to make you play those high notes alone. It needs the air to help drive the note upward. Okay, now on to the next most common mistake I see from beginner trombone players. Another very common mistake I see from beginner trombone players and trumpet players as well is not recognizing partials. So you may be sitting there and saying, what are partials? Let me tell you. Partials on the trombone are playing any two notes with the same position. If you're a beginner trombone player, we like first position, right? We like the note B flat. Think to yourself, what is another note that you can play in the first position? I love the note also F. I love the two notes B flat and F. These notes both are in first position, but sound differently. Take a listen. As you can hear, the F is a higher note than the B flat. This means that the F is on a different partial from B flat. You can begin to recognize what partial you are on while you play songs. For example, if I begin to play Yankee Doodle on the wrong partial, it will sound very, very differently than Yankee Doodle. As you can see, for both examples, I used the proper slide positions, but I was not on the correct partial. So, as a beginner trombonist, how do we start to recognize, am I on the correct partial, or am I playing too high, or am I playing too low? And for this, we do one of the most beloved exercises of all professional trombone players everywhere. We do what's called the lip slur. A lip slur is moving between any two partials without using your tongue. Here's an example of a great first lip slur between the notes B flat and F. Recognizing partials through doing lip slurs is a great way to make sure that you are starting on the note that you want to be starting on. For Yankee Doodle, starting on B flat instead of starting on F. We do that again by recognizing partials. Okay, on to the next one. This next topic that I'd like to talk about is very common for all beginner wind instrument players. You see it on trombone just as much as you see it on flute or clarinet. So, this is a very, very important one for the young trombonist or beginner trombonist to master early on. This is tonguing. So, one great exercise to help make sure that you're tonguing is called the rapid tongue drill. Rapid tongue drill involves going through 4 steps to make sure that you are tonguing when you play the instrument. So, step 1, use the tongue rapidly while saying ta or tu. Ta 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 ta. Now, we'll take out the word ta and we'll use just our tongue and air for step 2. Step 3, I will use the mouthpiece. The final step of the rapid tongue drill is to pick your favorite note and play it on the horn. The rapid tongue drill is the best way I've found to ensure that a beginner trombone student is using their tongue in the appropriate way when starting notes. The next most common error I see in young trombonists is not having consistent rhythm or consistent tempo. These are 2 different things, but they're very related, so I put them in the same category. So first off, what do I mean rhythm? What do I mean tempo? For rhythm, I mean, are you playing a quarter note? Are you playing a whole note? Are you playing a half note? Are you playing an eighth note, maybe? So this is what I mean rhythm. Does the note take up the amount of beats that it should? Tempo, I mean, does the overall beat keep a consistent speed? I hear all the time tempi where people are playing quarter notes and they go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. This is an inconsistent tempo. A nice consistent tempo would be 2, 2, 2, 2. So, how do we make sure that we have consistent rhythm, and how do we make sure that we have consistent tempo? I attack these problems in 2 different ways. First, I start with rhythm. For rhythm, I take notes out of the equation. I focus solely on rhythm. For example, if I was going to play Old MacDonald, I would not worry about the notes. I would play only on one note, focusing on rhythm. As you can see, I didn't even try to play the tune. I focused only on the rhythm to make sure that I was playing the rhythm that is written on the page in front of me. For tempo, there are a few ways to make sure that you're consistent. For me, I'm a little old school. I like to keep it without involving any technology, so I use my foot. In particular, my green Crocs foot. What do I mean I use my foot? Do I wave my foot around like this? No, I tap my foot on the ground before I even start playing. So, for example, if I was going to play Old MacDonald, I would tap 1 measure worth of beats with my foot before I even start playing. By tapping my foot, I can feel a nice, consistent tempo. The next most common mistake I see from beginner trombonists is having an inconsistent or just incorrect slide grip. The slide grip is very important because this is how we play our instrument. We don't have buttons, we just have the slide. So, there are a few different ways that I highly recommend you hold the slide to make sure that you are not overly tense and overly gripping with your big muscles, but nice and relaxed while you move the slide. The first slide grip that I recommend to all my students is the Spock grip. You got it. It's from Star Trek. Spock holds his hand like this, and he holds the trombone like this. So, you take your hand in the Spock position, and you put your top two fingers and your thumb on the slide brace. Your bottom two fingers now will hang out underneath the bottom of the slide. So this way, you're not overly gripping the trombone like this. You're just nice and relaxed as you move the slide. This helps especially young players with shorter arms maybe to reach out to the furthest positions because you can straighten your fingers without dropping the slide. If you're gripping like this, it's a very long reach to reach all the way to 7th position. So that's why I highly recommend the Spock grip. The other grip that I recommend, it doesn't have a cool name, but it is a nice, relaxed way to hold. I hold with 3 fingers above and just my pinky below. And this way you hold with your fingertips and your thumb. This way you have a little bit more control over the slide because you have a couple more fingers, but it's not as easy to stretch out like using the Spock grip. So, very importantly with the slide grip, I would recommend trying out a couple at the beginning and then really sticking with what you feel comfortable with. This way you're not changing all the time and there's no inconsistency. I see many young players trying to change their slide grip halfway through a song even, and this causes them to put the slide in different positions and play with poor intonation. So, using the same consistent slide grip, either the Spock grip, the 3 fingers grip, is the best way to ensure that you're using a proper slide technique. One thing to look out for, I call this the punching bag grip. Holding with all 4 fingers and your fist around the slide. This might feel like you have a lot of control over the slide, but it's not very relaxed, and it's definitely not easy to reach out to the furthest positions. So avoid the punching bag grip. The most important thing you can do as a beginner trombonist, I gave you all these techniques, I gave you all these exercises, but they don't matter if you're not having any fun. The trombone is such a fun instrument. I've been playing it a very long time, and every time I get together with my friends and play, I have such a great time. I love it. You see me every week, I make these YouTube videos. I love the trombone. That's because when I was a beginner, I did things that were fun. So, if you like long tones, practice your long tones. Play the longest long tone anyone has ever heard. If you love to play songs, play songs. Play it fast. Play it slow. Play it loud. Play it soft. Play it like it's very soft. Play it in all sorts of different ways. With no tongue, with way too much tongue, with very crazy rhythm, with not so crazy rhythm. Play whatever you want. As long as you're having fun, that's the most important thing you can do as a beginner, is have fun with the trombone. So again, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you'd like a lesson with me about any of these things that I talked about, or anything else on the trombone, write to my email down below, ryanbissonbasstrombone@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to work something out with you. And most importantly, have fun out there. Do something new on the trombone today.